These experiments on the human brain will shock you, and they might even scare you. Hey, I'm John, this is Big Dharma. I bring you practical spirituality that you can use. Before we had good medication for seizures, what they used to do was actually open up people's heads and sever the connection between the left and right hemisphere, called the corpus callosum. It's a bundle of nerves that sits between the left and right brain and passes signals between them. The idea was, if you sever the connection, then a seizure cannot spread from one side to the other. So what happened? Well, first of all, it was actually a pretty effective treatment. It reduced their seizures quite a bit, and it really seemed like it had no side effects. But then neuroscientists Roger Sperry and Nathaniel Gazzagana decided to test each side of the brain independently, and this is where things get weird. They would separate the patient's left and right visual field with a barrier. They would show the left and right side different pictures. So for example, they would show the left eye a picture of a mug, and the left earpiece say, now find that object in the box, and the left hand would go searching for it and eventually would find the mug. Meanwhile, the right eye and the right ear do not have this information. They're split off. And so then in the right ear, they would ask them, okay, what is your left hand holding? And they would tell the researcher, I am not holding anything in my left hand, because the two sides of the brain could not communicate with each other. But then it gets even weirder, because then sometimes they would remove the partition. They would show each eye a different scene and tell them to pick out an object that fits in that scene. So for example, they would show the left eye a snow scene, and the left hand would pick out a shovel, and they would show the right eye a picture of a chicken, and the right hand would pick out a chicken claw. And then they would remove the partition, and the patient would see they were holding a shovel in their left hand, and they would ask the patient, why are you holding a shovel in your left hand? And the patient would say, oh, I need the shovel to clean out the chicken coop, duh. So what this demonstrates is that the left hemisphere, which controls language, was forced to come up with a reason for its behavior that was obviously not true, but it was able to do it right away. This is delusion. Now I hear you ask, what does this have to do with meditation? Well, I thought you'd never ask. 2,600 years ago, the Buddha began giving lessons on not self. He observed that since everything is impermanent, then there's nothing anywhere that's a solid object, and therefore the self, which would be an object, also cannot exist. Really, if you look closely, the human body is not an object. It's a set of millions of different processes that are all happening at the same time. Fingernails are growing at the same time that the hair is growing, the heart is beating, and the lungs are expanding and contracting. They're related, but they're not the same thing. They're independent. Digestion is happening while feelings are happening, and mental perceptions are happening. And we feel like this all points back to a shot collar, but there's no shot collar in there. It's all parallel processing. It's just millions of independent processes. Now, the reason I bring this up is that this is something that can be directly observed through meditation. We can get our minds into particular states where that object creation habit drops away, and we see how everything is just continuous flow. And what these spiritual practices are meant to teach us is that we can apply that to our sense of self. And when this permanent sense of self drops away, the delusion drops away, our suffering ends. With enough courage and persistence, anyone can be free of their suffering. What better time to practice than right now?